Now, improving Nigeria's macroeconomic environment is important, as this will ensure transformation and growth in areas such as agriculture, manufacturing and the entire value chain. Our channel's business news editor Bosun Omofaye spoke to Chinwe Egwim, macroeconomic and fixed income analyst at FBN Quest at the just concluded AFDB annual meetings in Lusaka, Zambia, on some of these issues.
If we're looking at economic development in Nigeria, give us your thought as where things are right now.
In Nigeria, agriculture accounts for about 23% of total GDP. The decline in oil receipts has dragged economic diversification and the FGN's import substitution strategy to the front burner. And this import substitution strategy focuses mainly on agri-products. Last year, the CBN released a circular with a list of items no longer valid to source for FX on the official window. On that list, 8 agri-related products were on that list. Potentially, the sector stands to gain from restrictions by the authority. However, the FGN needs to create an enabling environment to allow this happen. On a macro level, agriculture is a major job generator.
If you look at, let's stick with the issue of import substitution for manufacturers. How do you see the restrictions on import and the substitution flowing into industrial manufacturing, whether for those in textiles, in fast-moving consumer goods sector?
Okay, for manufacturers who have most of their raw materials in agri-related items, they could source locally, and this would affect prices, like cutting costs for them, as opposed to depending heavily on foreign imported items. For the restaurant segment, most of their business cost is focused on imported food items as well. If cotton farming is encouraged, that bodes well for the textile industry. So they stand to benefit from the import substitution strategy. Another thing to mention is the squeeze in household spending. Households have been forced to revise their spending patterns. So good quality products at lower costs are now very attractive.
Let's talk a little bit about these annual meetings of the African Development Bank. What are some of the things you've learned from a macroeconomic point of view for big economies with big demography advantages like Nigeria?
Okay, well, at this meeting, if Africa can transform its agriculture, food imports would go down significantly. It also has the ability of unlocking the vast potential of the agribusiness chain, which is said to be worth over $100 billion for Africa. So looking into the agriculture space is something that would really push development across African countries.
From an economic point of view, have you listened to some conversations around energy and how energy access can actually fast-track macroeconomic development, whether at industrial level or at household consumption level?
Energy, well, power is a big issue, particularly in Nigeria. Power would facilitate agricultural procedures. So we have something like the tomato farms or tomato farmers, where they cannot even transport some of their goods to the markets without them getting rotten or spoiled. In Ghana, for instance, they lose about 50% of their tomato crops before they get to the markets. So this is a big issue with the power supply across African countries.
Thank you very much for your thoughts. We appreciate that.
You're very welcome.
It's good to have you here at the FDB.
Thank you.
Well, of course, it's going to be all about energy. There's a new Africa energy deal, and a lot of conversations, of course, happened at the just concluded AFDB meeting in Lusaka, Zambia. We'll be talking to Bosun Omofaye in just a moment as we get, a clearer perspective of how this conversations went from a business journalist perspective, of course. Of course, ex-President Olusegun Obasanjo said a lot about companies, oil companies, international oil companies in Nigeria, Nigeria's energy and gas, as well as coal and energy. We'll be focusing on that in just a bit. And we'll also be talking about how we can fast-track access to energy to fast-track macroeconomic development. Join us, of course, on the program and other ongoing conversations online on Twitter. I'm at CTV Harriet. At Bboson, we'll be glad to mind your business. You can follow at BizMorning at Channels TV, and you can send us an email as well to businessmorning@channelstv.com. Let's continue this conversation. So many words. Maybe it's because I'm in a holiday mood, but then join us if you can and enjoy the holiday as well. We'll be right back.